Hi, I'm Gary Strigler, and today I want to share something with you I learned a long time ago. As a matter of fact, it was so long ago, I can't even remember who showed it to me, but it's a trick I've used a good bit over the years. So occasionally, you have to make a miter joint in a piece of plywood, and this is a short example. Often when you're doing this, it's like a much longer piece, but there's a couple things about this that are sort of rough. You need to have your saw just darn close to on a true 45 to make this happen. You have to have a really good saw blade. And even when everything goes just perfect, you still have a joint that's not real strong. But more than anything, if something hits that long point of that plywood, it's going to ding it up and you're not going to have a good looking corner anymore. So, what I learned to do is take a piece of 3/4 plywood like this, and using this is a 1/2 inch. It's from the Whiteside multi-rebate kit, but it's a 1/2 inch rebating bit. I know some people say rabbit, but hopefully if you've listened to me for a while, you'll know why I say it called a rebate. And so what I've done is make a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch rebate in the corner of this plywood using the router bit. Now when I come in here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue in this. If I come in here and put this together right, I'm going to shoot. So one of the good things about this is it's squaring itself up as I'm doing it. I don't know if I think I may have just grabbed a nail gun that didn't have any nails in it. That usually doesn't work very well. Here we go. So now when I put that together, I've got a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch offset. Then what I want to do next is take just a piece of 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch material, and for instance, think about if you had, say, a really long joint side of a cabinet or something where the grain is going vertically. You could get a piece of matching material with grain that was somewhat similar, and then when you lay this in that corner, the grain will just about perfectly match. So what I would do is put a little bit of glue in here, like so, and I'm going to fit this piece in. Let's see, I think it may go a little better that way. It should be very, very close to square, but now I'm going to use a few headless pins. Now, back in the day when I actually started doing this, I didn't have a headless pinner, so it's even easier to do now. But you pin that piece in place, and then the next thing that I'm going to do, if I can find my sander, here it is. Now, of course, you always have to be careful when you're sanding on plywood, but we'll lay this in here, wipe most of the, I'm going to take my old nasty old chisel and wipe as much of the glue off as I can, and real gently sand this. So now I've got a joint that's just as flush as it can be. Now, if I want to, I can even take the sandpaper and I can even ease this edge a little bit. So now I've got what is a really strong corner, and I've got solid wood out there on the very, very corner so that if something hits it, it's not going to tear up like a fragile plywood. And again, if this was a long piece and the grain was running vertical, I could put a piece of matching wood in there and you could be very, very hard to see it. And in my opinion, definitely better than a fragile plywood corner.